I'm grateful you joined tonight. Your subconscious is filing memories right now while you rest, deciding what to keep, what to blend, and what to tuck away in secret places. You'll discover where your mind hides forgotten moments and understand why some dreams return night after night, carrying messages you're finally ready to hear. Welcome to Get Sleepy Science. Now settle in. You're in your safe space while your brain quietly sorts through today's experiences, filing them into long-term storage, preparing the stage for tonight's dreams. Allow yourself this moment of peace. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about recurring dreams and their hidden meanings, from the moment your eyes close and REM begins, to the dreams that visit you again and again, to the secret language your subconscious has been speaking all along. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. A soft subscribe, like, or sharing your thoughts creates a pathway for more dream seekers to discover this sanctuary and brings us closer to protect this peaceful space. One sleepy soul at a time. Your journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench. Your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating in the space between waking and dreaming, where memories transform into stories. Let your mind soften into the twilight of consciousness. And now we begin. Recurring dreams are dreams that repeat with similar themes, settings, or narratives across multiple nights, sometimes spanning years or even decades. Research published in the journal Dreaming in 2024 found that approximately 60 to 75% of adults report experiencing at least one recurring dream in their lifetime. These dreams don't usually replay exactly like a recorded video. Instead, they share core elements: a familiar feeling, a specific location, a recurring character, or an emotional atmosphere that feels unmistakably the same each time. Your brain isn't malfunctioning when it creates these patterns. According to neuroscientists at the University of Montreal, recurring dreams represent your brain's attempt to process unresolved emotional content through the unique problem-solving environment that sleep provides. The repetition itself is meaningful, like your subconscious underlining something important, asking you to pay attention. The most common recurring dream themes are remarkably consistent across cultures and time periods. A 2025 meta-analysis published in Consciousness and Cognition examined dream reports from over 40 countries and found that certain scenarios emerge consistently across cultures. Being chased or pursued appears in roughly 50% of recurring dreams. Falling or drowning occurs in about 35%. Arriving late or unprepared for an important event affects around 30% of dreamers. Losing teeth, being naked in public, or unable to move or speak, each affect between 15 and 25% of people who experience recurring dreams. What's fascinating is that these themes transcend cultural boundaries, appearing in dream journals from Tokyo to Toronto, from ancient dream texts to modern sleep lab recordings. This universality suggests these dreams tap into fundamental human experiences and anxieties, emotional territories that every human brain must navigate. Recurring dreams often begin during periods of significant stress or transition, Evidence from the Sleep and Dream database, updated through 2025, shows clear correlations between life changes and the onset of repetitive dream patterns. Starting a new job, moving to a new city, entering or leaving a relationship, experiencing loss, facing health challenges. All of these transitions frequently trigger recurring dreams. The dreams typically start within 2 to 6 weeks of the stressful event and may continue for months or even years afterward. Dr. Deirdre Barrett, a dream researcher at Harvard Medical School, explains that your brain uses these repeated scenarios as a kind of emotional rehearsal space. You're not just remembering the stress, you're actively working through it, testing different emotional responses, strengthening neural pathways that help you cope. The dream is doing something, not just showing you something. Your brain's architecture during REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs, creates the perfect conditions for recurring patterns to emerge. Neuroimaging studies from 2024 using high-resolution fMRI show that during REM sleep, your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for logical thinking and rational decision-making, reduces its activity by approximately 40%. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, becomes significantly more active, sometimes showing 30% elevated activity compared to waking hours. Your hippocampus, which manages memory formation and retrieval, also increases its firing rate. This unique combination means you're experiencing emotions more intensely, while thinking less logically and pulling more readily from stored memories. It's the ideal recipe for emotional patterns to surface, repeat, and demand attention. Recurring dreams are not the same as nightmares. Although they can sometimes overlap, clinical definitions from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, updated in 2025, distinguish between these experiences based on emotional content and frequency. Nightmares are intensely disturbing dreams that often wake you up, typically involving fear, terror, or anxiety. They occur occasionally in most people but become a clinical concern when they happen more than once a week and interfere with daily functioning. Recurring dreams, on the other hand, may or may not be distressing. Many people report recurring dreams that are neutral, puzzling, or even mildly pleasant. The key feature is repetition of theme or content, not necessarily negative emotion. About 35% of recurring dreams involve primarily neutral or positive emotions. According to research published in the Journal of Sleep Research, your recurring dream might be your brain's way of exploring something important, not necessarily something frightening. The content of your recurring dreams changes subtly over time, reflecting your evolving psychological state. A longitudinal study published in 2024 by researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, tracked dreamers who kept detailed journals of recurring dreams for 5 years. Scientists discovered that while the core theme remained consistent, the setting might change. The dream might become a house instead of a school, or the emotional tone might shift, fear becoming curiosity, or frustration becoming sadness. These variations aren't random. They map onto changes in how you're processing the underlying issue. When the dream starts to shift, it often indicates you're making progress in working through whatever emotional content the dream represents. Your subconscious is not stuck in a loop. It's adapting, revising, trying new approaches to help you integrate difficult experiences or emotions. children experience recurring dreams more frequently than adults. Studies from the University of Montreal's Dream and Nightmare Laboratory, published in 2025, suggest that rates of recurring dreams in children ages 6 to 12 range between 70 and 80%, compared to approximately 60 to 65% of adults. The content of children's recurring dreams tends to be more literal and often involves being chased by animals or monsters, getting lost, or being separated from parents. These dreams typically reflect developmental anxieties, fears about safety, attachment, autonomy, and social belonging. As children mature, most of these recurring dreams naturally fade, usually disappearing by late adolescence. However, recurring dreams that begin in childhood can sometimes persist into adulthood, particularly if they're linked to traumatic experiences or unresolved emotional conflicts. The brain doesn't forget the pattern, even decades later. Your recurring dreams often contain symbols that are uniquely personal to you, even when they draw on common themes. While dream dictionaries might suggest universal meanings for symbols, research in modern dream science emphasizes individual context. A study from the International Association for the Study of Dreams, published in 2024, analyzed over 5,000 dream reports and found that the emotional significance of dream symbols varied dramatically from person to person. Water might represent freedom for one dreamer and danger for another. A house might symbolize security or entrapment depending on the individual's life experiences. What matters most is not what a symbol should mean according to some universal key, but what it means to you, based on your memories, associations, and emotional history. Your subconscious speaks in a dialect only you fully understand. Recurring dreams serve an evolutionary purpose, helping humans rehearse responses to threats and challenges. Evolutionary psychologists, in research published through 2025, proposed that the tendency to have recurring dreams, especially those involving threat scenarios, provided survival advantages to our ancestors. By repeatedly simulating dangerous situations while in the safety of sleep, early humans could practice escape strategies, evaluate risks, and strengthen neural pathways for quick decision-making. Modern humans inherit this same mechanism. Your brain doesn't distinguish between ancient threats, like predators, and modern stressors, like job interviews or relationship conflicts. It uses the same repetitive dream rehearsal system. When you dream repeatedly of being chased or failing an important task, your brain is training you, building resilience, preparing you for challenges, even when the specific scenario in the dream may never occur in waking life. So yes, recurring dreams are already telling us something crucial. They're not meaningless repetitions, but active processing events. The latest neuroscience research, synthesized in a 2025 review in Nature Reviews Neuroscience, confirms that recurring dreams represent your brain's ongoing effort to integrate emotional experiences that haven't yet been fully processed. Each time the dream repeats, your neural networks are working to make new connections, to find resolution, to transform raw emotional memory into something your conscious mind can gradually understand and accept. The dream is not a symptom of being stuck. It's evidence that your brain is still working on the problem, still trying to help you, still believing that resolution is possible. The repetition is the healing process itself. The timing of recurring dreams within your sleep cycle matters. Sleep architecture observations from 2024 show that dreams occurring in the first REM period of the night, usually about 90 minutes after you fall asleep, tend to be shorter and incorporate more recent daily experiences. Recurring dreams that appear in this early REM phase often reflect immediate stressors or events from the past few days. Dreams in later REM periods, particularly in the early morning hours when REM sleep is longest and most intense, tend to be more complex, more emotional, and more likely to involve deeper, longer-standing psychological themes. If your recurring dream typically happens in these later sleep cycles, it suggests the content relates to more fundamental emotional patterns rather than temporary situational stress. Your brain saves its most important processing work for when it has the most time and resources to dedicate to it. Lucid dreaming, the state where you become aware you're dreaming while still asleep, can sometimes be used to interact with recurring dreams. Analysis published in 2025 in the journal Dreaming suggests that approximately 15 to 20% of people who experience recurring dreams have at least occasionally become lucid within those dreams. When lucidity occurs, some dreamers report being able to face the threatening element in the dream, ask questions of dream characters, or consciously change the dream's outcome. Studies suggest that successfully resolving a recurring dream through lucid intervention can sometimes reduce or even eliminate the dream's future recurrence. However, researchers caution that this doesn't work for everyone, and forcing resolution before you're psychologically ready may not be helpful. Sometimes the dream needs to repeat until your waking mind catches up to what your sleeping mind already knows. The neurotransmitter acetylcholine plays a crucial role in generating recurring dreams. During REM sleep, your brain releases high levels of acetylcholine, a chemical messenger that's essential for memory formation and emotional processing. Recent studies using microdialysis techniques in sleep labs have shown that people who experience frequent recurring dreams often show slightly elevated acetylcholine levels during REM compared to those who don't have recurring dreams. This increased acetylcholine activity strengthens the consolidation of emotional memories, which may explain why certain emotionally charged experiences get encoded so deeply that they resurface night after night. Your brain is essentially highlighting specific memories with a neurochemical marker, saying this experience needs more attention, more processing, more integration before it can be filed away as resolved. Recurring dreams often stop on their own when the underlying issue is resolved in waking life. A fascinating longitudinal study from 2025, published in Sleep Medicine, followed individuals with recurring dreams for up to 10 years. Researchers found that when participants made significant progress on the real-life issue, their recurring dreams seemed to represent, whether through therapy, major life changes, or simply the passage of time bringing new perspective. The dreams typically faded within weeks or months. One participant's recurring dream of being unprepared for an exam stopped after they completed a degree program. Another's dream of searching for a lost loved one in an endless building ceased after they processed grief through bereavement counseling. The dream doesn't disappear because you've figured it out intellectually. It fades because the emotional work is complete, and your brain no longer needs that particular rehearsal space. Gender differences in recurring dream content have been documented across multiple studies. Analysis compiled through 2025 shows that women report recurring dreams involving interpersonal conflict, relationship difficulties, and being chased or pursued slightly more often than men. Men report recurring dreams involving physical aggression, achievement scenarios, and mechanical or technical problems more frequently. However, these differences are relatively small, and there's far more overlap than distinction. The more significant factor appears to be individual personality traits rather than gender. People higher in trait anxiety report more recurring dreams overall. Those with higher levels of openness to experience report more bizarre and creative recurring dream content. The content of your recurring dreams reflects who you are more than what gender you are. Trauma notably increases the likelihood of experiencing recurring dreams and nightmares. Studies on post-traumatic stress disorder from the National Institute of Mental Health, updated through 2025, show that 50 to 70% of people who experience traumatic events develop some form of recurring trauma-related dream. These dreams may directly replay the traumatic event or represent it symbolically through metaphorical scenarios. The persistence of trauma-related recurring dreams is linked to how the brain processes fear memories. During trauma, the amygdala becomes hyperactivated and can encode memories so intensely that they resist normal integration processes. The recurring dream becomes the brain's repeated attempt to downregulate the emotional intensity of the memory, to make it bearable enough to integrate into your life story rather than remaining a separate, intrusive fragment. This is healing work. Even when it feels exhausting, the sensory vividness of recurring dreams can vary considerably from dream to dream. Some recurring dreams feel incredibly real, with rich visual details, sounds, physical sensations, and even smells. Other versions of the same recurring theme might feel vague, shadowy, or fragmentary. Evidence from 2024 suggests this variation in vividness correlates with how emotionally activated you are when the dream occurs. When you're under higher stress during your waking hours, the recurring dream tends to be more vivid and intense. During calmer periods, the same dream theme might appear in a muted, less detailed form. Your brain adjusts the intensity of the rehearsal to match your current emotional needs. You get the version of the dream that your system can handle processing on that particular night. Some recurring dreams contain precognitive elements, not because they predict the future, but because they reflect your subconscious awareness of patterns. A 2025 study in Psychological Science examined cases where people reported that their recurring dreams seemed to come true. In almost all cases, researchers discovered that the dreamers had subconsciously noticed patterns or warning signs in their waking life that their conscious mind hadn't yet acknowledged. A recurring dream about relationship betrayal might precede an actual breakup, but not because the dream predicted it. Rather, the dreamer's subconscious had already detected subtle behavioral changes in their partner, emotional distance, inconsistencies, small deceptions, and was processing this information during sleep. The dream was reading the present accurately, not predicting the future magically. Your sleeping mind often knows what your waking mind isn't ready to admit. The setting of your recurring dream often represents your psychological state rather than a literal place. Modern dream analysis, supported by research from 2024, emphasizes that dream environments function as emotional landscapes. If your recurring dream takes place in your childhood home, it's rarely about the actual house. More likely, it represents feelings associated with that time of your life. Safety, dependency, family dynamics, or unfinished developmental tasks. A recurring dream set in a school might represent feelings of being tested, judged, or evaluated in your current life. A maze or labyrinth could symbolize confusion or searching for direction. These settings are your brain's way of creating a stage where emotional themes can be explored. The location is the container. The emotional content is what really matters. Sharing your recurring dreams with others can sometimes help reduce their frequency and emotional intensity. Dream sharing research from 2025 found that when people described their recurring dreams to a therapist, trusted friend, or support group, they often reported that the dreams became less frequent or less distressing over subsequent weeks. This effect appears to work through several mechanisms. Putting the dream into words activates your brain's language centers, particularly Broca's area and Wernicke's area, which helps shift the experience from pure emotion to narrative structure. Receiving validation and support from a listener activates neural circuits associated with social bonding and safety, which can help down-regulate fear responses. The dream doesn't need to stay secret anymore. Once it's been witnessed and accepted, some of its urgency fades. Your recurring dreams may incorporate elements from different time periods of your life, blending past and present in ways that seem impossible when awake. A 2024 study using detailed dream reports found that 65% of recurring dreams combined people, places, or events from different decades. You might dream of facing a current work challenge in your childhood bedroom, or encountering someone from your past in a present-day scenario. This temporal blending isn't confusion. It's your brain's sophisticated way of linking emotionally similar experiences across time. The dream is showing you patterns. Here's how this current situation resonates with something you felt 20 years ago. Here's the common emotional thread. Your sleeping mind sees connections that your waking mind keeps separated by calendar and clock. Medications and substances can influence the frequency and content of recurring dreams. Analysis published through 2025 shows that certain antidepressants, particularly selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, can increase dream vividness and sometimes the frequency of recurring dreams by affecting REM sleep duration and neurochemistry. Beta blockers, often prescribed for heart conditions and anxiety, can also intensify dreams. Conversely, some substances suppress REM sleep and thus reduce dreaming overall. Alcohol and cannabis, frequently used as sleep aids, both suppress REM early in the night, though REM rebounds later. If you've noticed changes in your recurring dreams after starting or stopping a medication, this isn't imagination. The chemical environment of your brain during sleep directly affects how dreams form, how vivid they are, and whether emotional memories surface repeatedly. The age when a recurring dream first appears can offer clues about what it represents. Dreams that begin in childhood often relate to developmental fears and attachment issues. Dreams that first appear in adolescence frequently involve identity formation, social anxiety, or sexual development. Recurring dreams that start in adulthood are more likely to be linked to specific stressful events, relationship problems, career challenges, or existential concerns. Recent tracking of dream onset found that the emotional tone of recurring dreams also varies by age of onset. Childhood onset recurring dreams tend to involve more primal fears, like abandonment or physical danger. Adult onset recurring dreams more often involve complex social scenarios, failure, embarrassment, or loss of control. Your brain creates the dream using the emotional vocabulary available to you at that stage of life. Recurring dreams show distinct patterns in brain connectivity that differ from non-recurring dreams. Advanced neuroimaging research from 2024 using functional connectivity (MRI) during REM sleep found that people experiencing recurring dreams show stronger connections between the amygdala, which processes emotions, and the hippocampus, which manages memory, compared to other types of dreams. They also showed increased connectivity between these emotional and memory centers and the default mode network, a brain network active during self-referential thinking and mind-wandering. This pattern suggests that recurring dreams involve deeper integration of emotional memories with your sense of self. The dream is not just showing you an emotion, it's working to weave that emotional experience into the larger story of who you are. These patterns reveal that recurring dreams are not random, not punishment, and not signs of mental illness. The latest consensus from sleep science and clinical psychology, summarized in multiple 2025 review papers, is clear. Recurring dreams are a normal, adaptive function of a healthy brain, attempting to process emotional information that hasn't been fully integrated. They are more common during stress, but they occur across the full spectrum of human experience. They don't mean you're broken or stuck. They mean your brain is working exactly as designed, creating a safe space where difficult emotions can be revisited, examined from different angles, and gradually integrated into your understanding of yourself and the world. The dream repeats because the work isn't finished yet, and that's okay. Some of the most important emotional work takes time, patience, and many nights of gentle, persistent rehearsal. Let's pause here and notice your body. Notice how your body rests right now, each muscle softening, each breath deeper than the last. Feel the boundary between your body and the bed beneath you. During REM sleep, this same body enters a state called sleep paralysis, where your muscles relax completely so you don't act out your dreams. Your brain protects you while you journey through inner worlds. Right now, you're safe, supported, held. Your recurring dreams visit you in this state of complete safety. Notice the gentle sensations, the weight of the blanket, the coolness of the pillow, the rhythm of your breathing. This is your anchor. This is real, and from this safe place, dreams can come and go as they need to. Now we continue. The hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain, acts as a memory indexing system and plays a central role in creating recurring dreams. During waking hours, your hippocampus constantly encodes new experiences, tagging them with contextual information like where you were, what you were doing, who was present, and how you felt. During sleep, particularly in REM phases, the hippocampus replays these experiences, strengthening some memories and allowing others to fade. Recent studies using electrode recordings in epilepsy patients undergoing brain monitoring found that the hippocampus shows remarkably similar firing patterns when people experience recurring dream content night after night. Specific clusters of neurons reactivate in nearly identical sequences. This means your recurring dream is not just thematically similar each time. It's actually reactivating the same neural pathways, the same memory traces, attempting to integrate them more fully into your long-term memory networks. Unresolved emotional conflicts create a kind of neural tension that recurring dreams attempt to release. Neuroscientists now understand that memories are not stored as static recordings, but as dynamic networks that can be updated and modified each time they're recalled. This process, called memory reconsolidation, is especially active during sleep. A study published in 2025 in the journal Neuron showed that when an emotional memory remains unresolved, meaning it hasn't been integrated with your broader understanding of yourself and the world, it becomes tagged by the amygdala as requiring further processing. During REM sleep, these tagged memories are more likely to be reactivated and incorporated into dreams. The recurring nature of the dream reflects the fact that the memory is being pulled up repeatedly for reconsolidation, each time with a chance to be updated, reinterpreted, or emotionally recalibrated. Stress hormones, particularly cortisol, influence which memories become the subject of recurring dreams. Your body follows a daily cortisol rhythm, with levels typically highest in the morning and lowest at night. However, chronic stress disrupts this pattern, often keeping cortisol elevated into evening hours. Scientists have found that elevated nighttime cortisol is associated with more frequent recurring dreams, particularly those with negative emotional content. Cortisol strengthens the consolidation of emotionally arousing memories, which explains why stressful or traumatic experiences are more likely to generate recurring dreams than neutral events. Interestingly, the same research found that practices that reduce evening cortisol, such as meditation, gentle exercise, or calming routines, often correlate with gradual decreases in recurring dream frequency. Your daytime stress directly programs your nighttime dream content. The brain's threat detection system, centered in the amygdala, becomes hyperactive during recurring dreams that involve fear or anxiety. Advanced imaging studies from 2025 show that during fear-based recurring dreams, the amygdala shows activity levels up to 40% elevated compared to neutral dreams or even waking states. This heightened activation serves a purpose. By repeatedly exposing you to threatening scenarios in the safe environment of sleep, your brain is essentially running exposure therapy on itself. Each time you experience the fear in the dream without actual harm occurring, the amygdala learns to down-regulate its response slightly. Over many repetitions, the emotional intensity of the memory gradually decreases. This is why many people report that their recurring nightmares, while remaining thematically similar, become less terrifying over time. The dream is doing the therapeutic work automatically. REM sleep is when your brain is most neurochemically primed for emotional memory processing. During REM, levels of norepinephrine, a stress-related neurotransmitter, drop to nearly zero in your brain, lower than at any other time in the sleep-wake cycle. Evidence from 2024 suggests this norepinephrine suppression creates a unique neurochemical environment where emotional memories can be reactivated and processed without triggering the full stress response. You can revisit painful or anxious memories while remaining in a relatively calm physiological state. This allows for emotional learning, updating how you feel about a memory, without being overwhelmed by it. Recurring dreams take advantage of this window. They bring up difficult content precisely because your brain is in a state where it can handle that content without full-blown panic or distress. Pattern recognition circuits in your brain drive the repetitive nature of recurring dreams. The human brain is extraordinarily good at detecting patterns. It's one of our most fundamental cognitive abilities. During sleep, pattern detection systems remain active and actually become more associative and less constrained by logic. Analysis from 2025 using machine learning to study dream content found that recurring dreams often center on patterns your brain has detected in your waking life, but that your conscious mind hasn't explicitly recognized. You might dream repeatedly of being trapped in a building because your subconscious has detected a pattern of feeling confined or limited in multiple areas of your life. Even if those situations seem unrelated when you're awake, the dream is your brain saying, "Notice this pattern. It's important. It keeps appearing. Pay attention." The default mode network, a set of brain regions most active when you're not focused on the external world, plays a surprising role in recurring dreams. This network, which includes the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and parts of the temporal lobes, is involved in self-referential thinking, autobiographical memory, and imagining the future. During REM sleep, the default mode network shows increased activity and altered connectivity patterns. Studies from 2024 found that people with more active default mode networks during REM tend to have more complex, narrative-driven recurring dreams that feel deeply personal and meaningful. These dreams aren't just emotional reactions. They're your brain constructing and reconstructing your sense of self, trying out different versions of your personal story, asking, "Who am I in light of this experience? How does this fit into my understanding of myself?" Recurring dreams often emerge from incomplete grief or mourning processes. Bereavement research published through 2025 shows that dreams about deceased loved ones are extremely common, with about 60% of bereaved individuals reporting such dreams. For many, these dreams occur repeatedly during the first year after a loss. The content typically evolves over time. Early dreams might involve the person being alive again, creating confusion or distress upon waking. Later dreams might involve conversations, farewells, or symbolic representations. Researchers believe these recurring dreams serve the crucial function of maintaining connection while gradually accepting separation. Each dream allows you to interact with your mental representation of the lost person, processing different aspects of your relationship and your grief. The dreams usually become less frequent as grief integrates, but they may return during anniversaries or new losses. Sleep quality and sleep fragmentation affect the intensity and frequency of recurring dreams. Poor sleep, characterized by frequent awakenings and disrupted sleep architecture, actually increases the likelihood of remembering dreams, including recurring ones. A 2024 study found that people who wake up during or shortly after REM periods are far more likely to recall detailed dream content than those who sleep through to morning. This creates an interesting paradox. Insomnia and disrupted sleep can make recurring dreams more prominent in your awareness, not because you're having more of them necessarily, but because you're waking up mid-process and catching them in action. If you've noticed an increase in recurring dreams during a period of poor sleep, the dreams may have been there all along. You're just becoming more aware of the work your brain does each night. Attachment style, formed in early childhood, influences both the content and emotional tone of recurring dreams in adulthood. Psychological research from 2025 examined the relationship between attachment patterns and dream characteristics. People with anxious attachment styles, who tend to worry about abandonment and relationship security, more frequently report recurring dreams involving separation, rejection, or being left behind. Those with avoidant attachment who tend to maintain emotional distance, often have recurring dreams about isolation, being pursued, or needing to escape. Securely attached individuals have recurring dreams too, but they're more likely to involve problem-solving scenarios or neutral, repetitive themes rather than relationship distress. Your earliest experiences of safety and connection create templates that your dreaming brain uses decades later when constructing its nighttime narratives. The phenomenon of dream incorporation, where recent waking experiences appear in dreams, interacts with recurring dream patterns in interesting ways. Observations from 2024 show that recurring dreams often incorporate new elements from your daily life while maintaining their core theme. You might have the same recurring dream about being late for an important event, but the event itself changes. Sometimes it's the exam from 20 years ago. Sometimes it's tomorrow's meeting. Sometimes it's a wedding or performance. This blending of old patterns with new content reveals how your brain uses recurring dreams as flexible frameworks. The emotional theme remains constant because it represents an ongoing psychological concern, but the details update to show how that concern is currently manifesting in your life. The dream is both ancient and immediate. Neurotransmitter imbalances, particularly involving serotonin and dopamine, can influence recurring dream patterns. Clinical research through 2025 shows that people with depression, which often involves disrupted serotonin systems, tend to have more frequent recurring dreams with themes of loss, failure, and helplessness. Individuals with conditions affecting dopamine, such as Parkinson's disease or schizophrenia, often report more bizarre, emotionally intense, or paranoid recurring dreams. This isn't to say that having recurring dreams indicates a neurotransmitter problem. Most recurring dreams occur in people with completely normal brain chemistry, but it does illustrate that the chemical environment of your sleeping brain acts like a filter, coloring which memories surface, how emotions are experienced, and what themes your dreams explore repeatedly. The consolidation of emotional skills and coping strategies happens partly through recurring dreams. An innovative 2025 study tracked therapy clients learning new emotional regulation techniques. Scientists discovered that many participants began having recurring dreams where they practiced these new skills. Setting boundaries in the dream, standing up to threatening figures, calming themselves during anxiety. These dreams appeared to function as rehearsal spaces where new behavioral patterns could be tested safely before being fully integrated into waking behavior. The recurring nature ensured enough repetition for the new neural pathways to strengthen. Think of it as muscle memory for emotional responses. Your brain creates scenarios where you can practice until the new pattern becomes automatic. Cultural context shapes how people interpret their recurring dreams, but doesn't fundamentally change why these dreams occur. Cross-cultural dream research from 2024 examined recurring dreams across 17 countries with diverse cultural frameworks. While Western dreamers tend to interpret recurring dreams psychologically as reflections of inner conflict, dreamers in some indigenous cultures might view the same types of dreams as spiritual messages or ancestral communication. Southeast Asian cultures might interpret them through karmic frameworks. Yet the underlying neurobiology, the REM sleep patterns, the memory consolidation processes, the emotional processing mechanisms, remains the same across all groups. Culture provides the language and meaning-making framework. But the brain's need to process unresolved emotional content through repetitive dreaming appears to be a human universal. This evidence suggests your brain is trying to tell you something through the repetition, not to punish or frighten you, but to heal you. The cumulative research from neuroscience, psychology, and sleep medicine published through 2025 converges on a clear conclusion. Recurring dreams are adaptive, purpose-driven phenomena. They represent your brain's sophisticated attempt to integrate difficult experiences, to practice emotional responses, to detect important patterns, to consolidate memories, and to update your understanding of yourself. The dream returns because the work isn't complete, not because you're failing or stuck, but because some emotional learning takes time, requires patience, needs multiple approaches. Your sleeping mind is persistent, creative, and fundamentally on your side. It will keep trying, night after night, until you're ready to integrate whatever message, whatever healing, whatever growth the dream carries. You're still here with me, thoughts still flickering like candlelight. Just notice. Don't judge. Just notice where your mind is. We're exploring consciousness itself, the very thing doing the exploring right now. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. Let's drift onward together. Recurring dreams persist when there's a mismatch between your emotional experience and your cognitive understanding of that experience. Psychological research from 2025 identifies this as emotional cognitive dissonance. You might intellectually understand that a past event wasn't your fault, but emotionally you still carry shame or guilt. You might know logically that you're safe now, but your nervous system remains in a state of hypervigilance. Your recurring dream lives in this gap between knowing and feeling. It keeps repeating because your brain is trying to bridge that gap, to bring your emotional response into alignment with your conscious understanding. The dream is doing integration work, attempting to update outdated emotional programming to match your current reality and knowledge. Avoidance in waking life strengthens recurring dreams. When you tend to move away from thinking about or processing a difficult emotion, situation, or memory during your waking hours, your brain doesn't simply forget about it. Instead, research from 2024 shows that avoided material becomes more likely to surface during sleep when your conscious defenses are down. This is sometimes called the dream rebound effect. Similar to how trying not to think about something often makes it more intrusive, your recurring dream might be your brain's way of ensuring that avoided material still gets processing time. You can push it away during the day, but at night, when your prefrontal cortex relaxes its control, the subconscious brings it back to the surface. The dream persists because something in you knows the issue needs attention, even if your waking self isn't ready to give it. Recurring dreams can become self-reinforcing through expectation and anxiety. A 2025 study on dream anxiety found that people who worry about having a recurring nightmare are significantly more likely to have that nightmare occur. This isn't mystical. It's neurological. When you go to bed anxious about a particular dream, you prime your brain's threat detection systems, essentially pre-activating the neural networks associated with that dream content. Your heightened anxiety also disrupts sleep quality, leading to more frequent awakenings during REM, which increases dream recall and creates the subjective feeling that the dream is happening more often. This can create a cycle where fear of the dream feeds the dream's recurrence. Breaking this cycle often requires working with the anxiety itself, teaching your nervous system that sleep is safe and dreams, even difficult ones, cannot harm you. Some recurring dreams persist because they're connected to ongoing life circumstances that haven't changed. If you're in a job that genuinely feels threatening to your well-being, you might continue to have recurring dreams about being trapped or endangered until you change jobs or find ways to improve the situation. If you're in a relationship with unresolved conflict, recurring dreams about arguments or separation may continue until the relationship issues are addressed. Evidence from 2024 emphasizes that in these cases, the dream isn't pathological or stuck. It's accurately reflecting your current reality. Your subconscious is persistently pointing at the situation saying, "This still needs your attention. This is still causing you distress. Something needs to change." The dream becomes a messenger. And sometimes, the only way to resolve the dream is to address the waking situation it represents. Developmental transitions can reactivate old recurring dreams or create new ones. Major life changes such as becoming a parent, caring for aging relatives, facing retirement, or experiencing health challenges can trigger the return of recurring dreams from earlier life stages or generate entirely new repetitive dream patterns. A 2025 longitudinal study found that approximately 40% of people experience a resurgence or shift in recurring dreams during significant life transitions. This makes sense developmentally. Transitions often activate similar emotional themes across the lifespan. Questions about identity, competence, belonging, mortality, and purpose. A recurring dream from adolescence about not fitting in might return when you're navigating a new social environment in your 50s. The dream persists across decades because it addresses a fundamental human concern that gets reactivated whenever circumstances change significantly. The persistence of trauma-related recurring dreams involves alterations in how fear memories are stored. Traumatic experiences can lead to memories being encoded in a fragmented, sensory-heavy way that resists normal narrative integration. Studies on PTSD from 2024 show that trauma memories often remain isolated in the brain's fear centers, rather than being integrated into the broader autobiographical memory network managed by the hippocampus. Recurring trauma dreams represent the brain's ongoing attempts to complete this integration, to transform the fragmented sensory memory into a coherent narrative that can be filed away as something that happened in the past rather than something that is happening now. Effective trauma treatment, particularly approaches like EMDR or trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, often helps complete this integration process. And when it does, trauma-related recurring dreams typically diminish significantly. Recurring dreams sometimes persist because they're actually serving a protective function you're not consciously aware of. Clinical observations from 2025 describe cases where recurring dreams appear to help people maintain psychological defenses that are currently necessary. A person might have a recurring dream that expresses anger indirectly because they're not yet in a safe enough position to express that anger directly in waking life. Someone might dream repeatedly of escape or flight because leaving an unhealthy situation isn't yet practically feasible. In these instances, the dream provides a release valve, allowing emotional expression and processing to occur in a contained way until circumstances change enough that direct action becomes possible. The dream protects by processing just enough emotion to prevent overwhelming pressure while maintaining necessary defenses. It persists because it's still needed. The persistence of recurring dreams is influenced by how you respond to them when you wake up. Dream journaling research from 2024 found that people who approach their recurring dreams with curiosity rather than fear, who reflect on possible meanings without becoming obsessive, and who treat the dreams as information rather than threats, often experience gradual shifts in dream content and eventual resolution. Conversely, waking up from a recurring dream and immediately trying to suppress or forget it, or becoming highly distressed and anxious, tends to strengthen the dream's grip. Your waking response sends signals to your subconscious about how to handle the material. Openness and gentle curiosity communicate. I'm ready to work with this. Fear and avoidance communicate. This is still too threatening to approach. And the dream remains in its protective, repetitive pattern. Certain recurring dreams persist because they've become linked to your identity or sense of self. Long-standing recurring dreams, especially those that have been with you for many years or since childhood, can become integrated into your self-concept. You might think of yourself as someone who has that flying dream, or someone who always dreams about being chased. Evidence from 2025 suggests that once a dream pattern becomes part of your identity narrative, it can persist even after the original emotional trigger has been resolved, simply because it's now part of who you understand yourself to be. The dream has moved from being about processing a specific issue to being a familiar, almost comfortable aspect of your inner life. In these cases, the dream's persistence isn't necessarily problematic. It's become a companion, a regular visitor in the landscape of your sleeping mind. Halfway through our journey, the answer is emerging. Recurring dreams persist, not because you're broken or unable to move forward, but because your brain is persistently working to help you integrate experiences, emotions, and memories that are complex, significant, or painful. The persistence itself is evidence of your psyche's resilience and commitment to healing. Each repetition is another attempt at resolution, another opportunity for integration, another gentle invitation to pay attention to something important. The dream will stay as long as it's needed. And when its work is complete, when the emotional learning has occurred, when the memory has been integrated, when circumstances have changed, or when you've grown in the precise way that makes the dream's message obsolete, it will fade on its own, often so gradually you won't notice the last time it visits. The persistence is purposeful. The repetition is the remedy. Breathe slowly now, and feel yourself floating in a strange space. In dreams, time doesn't work the way it does when you're awake. Past and present blend together. A memory from 20 years ago sits beside this morning's worry. Your mind moves freely through time, not bound by clocks or calendars. This is where recurring dreams live, in that timeless space where all your experiences exist simultaneously, waiting to be understood, waiting to be woven together into wisdom. Notice how it feels to let go of linear time, past, present, future, all just different rooms in the same house of your consciousness. You can move between them. Your dreams already do this naturally. Let yourself float in this timelessness. No rush, no deadline, just the gentle work of memory finding its rightful place. And we continue. Your recurring dreams reveal your core emotional concerns with remarkable accuracy. A comprehensive 2025 analysis of dream journals, paired with psychological assessments, found strong correlations between recurring dream themes and individuals' primary sources of anxiety or stress in waking life. People whose recurring dreams involved being chased or pursued scored significantly higher on measures of avoidance coping and tended to have real-life situations they were avoiding confronting. Those with recurring dreams of failing tests or being unprepared showed elevated perfectionism and fear of judgment. Recurring dreams of losing control, whether through falling, vehicle malfunctions, or paralysis, correlated with experiences of limited agency or reduced influence in waking relationships or work situations. Your dream isn't obscure or symbolic in complicated ways. It's pointing directly at what matters most to your emotional well-being right now. The way you behave in your recurring dreams reveals your coping strategies and defense mechanisms. Dream analysis from 2024 looked at how people respond to threats or challenges within their recurring dreams. Some dreamers consistently fight back. Others run. Some freeze. Some try to negotiate or placate. These dream behaviors closely mirror how people tend to respond to stress in waking life. If you always run in your recurring dreams, you might favor avoidance or escape as coping mechanisms when awake. If you fight, you might tend toward confrontation or aggression when stressed. If you freeze or hide, you might tend toward dissociation or withdrawal. Recognizing these patterns in your dreams can offer insights into your automatic responses to difficulty. And once you're aware of them, you have the opportunity to develop new, more adaptive responses both in dreams and in waking life. Recurring dreams about specific people reveal more about you than about them. When someone appears repeatedly in your dreams, whether it's a family member, ex-partner, colleague, or even someone from your distant past, dream research emphasizes that the person in your dream is primarily a representation of something within yourself. They might represent a quality you associate with them: their confidence, their criticism, their warmth, their unpredictability. They might symbolize a part of your own personality that you've disowned, or a relationship dynamic you learned early and continue to replay. A 2025 study found that dreamers who explored what the recurring person represented symbolically, rather than taking the dream literally, gained more psychological insight. Your mother in your dream might not be about your actual mother, but about your internalized experience of being mothered, nurtured, criticized, or controlled. The emotions you feel during recurring dreams are often more important than the dream's content. You might have different versions of a recurring dream with varied details. But if the emotional tone remains consistent, that emotion is what your subconscious is working to process. Dream emotion tracking from 2024 found that when therapy clients focused on identifying and working with the core emotion in their recurring dreams, rather than analyzing symbols or narrative details, they made faster progress in resolving the dreams. If your recurring dream always leaves you feeling ashamed, regardless of whether you're naked in public or failing a test, shame is what needs attention. If the constant emotion is anxiety, then anxiety is the message. The story is just the vehicle. The feeling is the truth your dream is trying to help you acknowledge and process. Recurring dreams can reveal unacknowledged parts of your identity or desires. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the aspects of ourselves we don't consciously accept or recognize, finds support in modern dream research. A 2025 study examined recurring dreams that seemed to contradict dreamers' waking self-concepts. People who identified as completely independent and self-sufficient sometimes had recurring dreams of being cared for or rescued. Those who saw themselves as gentle and passive sometimes had recurring dreams of rage or violence. These dreams aren't random. They're giving voice to disowned parts of your personality. Aspects of yourself that don't fit your conscious self-image, but still need expression. The recurring nature suggests these parts aren't going away. They're asking to be acknowledged, integrated, allowed to exist as part of the complex, whole person you are. The frequency of your recurring dreams can indicate the urgency of the underlying emotional issue. Tracking of dream frequency found that recurring dreams that appear nightly or several times per week typically point to more acute, pressing psychological needs than those that recur monthly or a few times per year. Daily recurring dreams often emerge during crisis periods. Acute grief, major life transitions, or active trauma processing. Less frequent recurring dreams might represent ongoing but lower-level concerns. Persistent insecurities, long-standing relationship patterns, or philosophical questions about meaning and purpose. The urgency with which your subconscious presents the dream correlates with how much emotional resources it believes you need to dedicate to the issue. Frequent dreams are your psyche's way of saying, "This needs attention now." Recurring dreams sometimes reveal your deepest fears by showing you exactly what you're most afraid of losing or facing. Existential psychology research from 2025 examined recurring dreams through the lens of fundamental human fears: death, meaninglessness, isolation, and freedom or responsibility. Many recurring dreams, when examined closely, touch on these existential themes. Dreams of being chased might reflect fear of death or annihilation. Dreams of being alone in vast, empty spaces might reflect fear of isolation or insignificance. Dreams of having to make an impossible choice might reflect anxiety about freedom and the weight of responsibility. These aren't abstract philosophical concerns. They're deeply felt fears about the human condition that your dreams are trying to help you confront, process, and integrate so you can live more fully despite the inherent uncertainties and limitations of existence. Your recurring dreams can reveal patterns of self-sabotage or self-limitation. A 2024 study on dream content and behavior patterns found that people who repeatedly dream of obstacles preventing them from reaching a goal, missing flights, being blocked by walls, having their path cut off, often exhibit similar self-limiting behaviors in waking life. They might procrastinate on important projects, create obstacles to their own success, or unconsciously avoid opportunities that could lead to growth but also risk. The dream is holding up a mirror, showing you the pattern playing out in your inner world. Once you recognize the pattern in the dream, you can begin to notice it in your waking behavior and make different choices. The recurring dream becomes a diagnostic tool, revealing the invisible ways you might be standing in your own way. Recurring dreams about places, especially houses, buildings, or landscapes, often represent your internal psychological landscape. Dream architecture research from 2025 confirms what many therapeutic traditions have long suggested. Houses in dreams typically represent the self, with different rooms corresponding to different aspects of personality, consciousness, or life experience. Basements often represent the unconscious or repressed material. Attics might represent higher consciousness, spirituality, or aspirations. Locked rooms suggest parts of yourself you haven't accessed or integrated. If you have a recurring dream about a specific building or landscape, pay attention to its qualities. Is it safe or threatening? Familiar or strange? Expansive or confining? The space is a map of your inner world, showing you how you currently experience being yourself. The evolution or lack of evolution in your recurring dream reveals whether you're making psychological progress on the underlying issue. Therapists who work with dreams, according to 2025 clinical reports, often track changes in recurring dream content as markers of therapeutic progress. When a recurring dream starts to shift, the threatening figure becomes less scary. You start to fight back instead of running. The dream environment becomes less hostile. This usually indicates psychological growth in the related waking issue. Conversely, if a recurring dream remains completely static, despite months or years of therapy or personal growth work, it might indicate that the core issue isn't being adequately addressed, or that the approach being used isn't the right one for this particular problem. Your dream is giving you feedback about your healing journey. Recurring dreams can reveal your attachment to suffering or familiarity with struggle. Some people discover, through dream work, that their recurring dreams persist, partly because the struggle or suffering depicted has become familiar, almost comfortable. Psychological research from 2024 on the familiarity principle shows that humans often prefer familiar discomfort to unfamiliar ease. A recurring dream of struggle, failure, or being overwhelmed might persist, not because you can't resolve the underlying issue, but because resolving it would require you to step into an unfamiliar version of yourself, one who succeeds, who is at peace, who doesn't have to struggle. The dream is asking, are you ready to let go of this familiar suffering? Are you willing to become someone who doesn't carry this burden anymore? Sometimes the answer is not yet, and the dream respects that, continuing its nightly visits until you're ready. Recurring dreams often reveal the questions you're asking about life, even if you're not consciously aware of asking them. Existential dream analysis from 2025 suggests that recurring dreams frequently center on life's fundamental questions. Who am I? What do I value? Where do I belong? What is my purpose? Am I lovable? Can I trust others? Can I trust myself? The narrative of your recurring dream, when examined symbolically, often plays out one of these questions in story form. A dream of searching for something you can't find might be asking, what is my purpose? A dream of being rejected or abandoned might be asking, am I lovable? The dream doesn't provide answers. It holds the space for the question to be asked, again and again, until you find your own answer through living, growing, and integrating experience. Your recurring dreams can reveal generational patterns or inherited trauma. Emerging research from 2024 on epigenetics and trauma transmission has found that traumatic experiences can influence gene expression in ways that may affect subsequent generations. While the mechanisms are still being studied, clinical observations show that some people have recurring dreams that seem to reflect traumas experienced by parents or grandparents, even when those traumas were never explicitly discussed. Dreams of persecution, fleeing danger, or witnessing violence might connect to family histories of war, displacement, or oppression. This doesn't mean you're literally dreaming someone else's memories. Rather, your nervous system might carry inherited stress patterns, and your dreams are working to process and integrate these intergenerational emotional legacies, completing healing work that previous generations weren't able to complete. The inability to speak, move, or be heard in recurring dreams often reveals experiences of limited agency or reduced influence in waking life. A 2025 study on dream paralysis and muteness found that these experiences in dreams strongly correlate with situations in waking life where people feel unable to express themselves, advocate for their needs, or influence their circumstances. You might have a recurring dream where you try to scream but no sound comes out, or where you need to run but your legs won't move. These dreams typically emerge when you're in a job where your input isn't valued, a relationship where your voice is dismissed, or a life situation where you feel trapped with limited options. The dream is showing you, in visceral form, what you might be intellectually minimizing or denying. You experience constraints on your influence. The dream won't let you ignore that reality. We now understand that recurring dreams mean your psyche is speaking to you in the only language available during sleep, the language of symbols, emotions, and narrative. The convergence of neuroscience and depth psychology in 2025 has validated what many therapeutic traditions have long proposed. Your unconscious mind, which lacks the verbal, linear thinking of your conscious awareness, communicates through images, feelings, and stories. Recurring dreams are its most persistent communications, the messages it considers most important for your growth, healing, or well-being. The dream isn't trying to confuse you with obscure symbolism. It's doing its best to communicate in its native language. Learning to listen to that language, to approach your dreams with curiosity rather than fear, with openness rather than dismissal, is learning to listen to a wise, ancient part of yourself that sees truths your waking mind sometimes misses. Recurring dreams about being late or unprepared reveal perfectionism and fear of judgment. Analysis from 2024, specifically examining this extremely common dream type, found that it occurs most frequently in people with high conscientiousness, strong achievement orientation, and significant anxiety about others' evaluations. The dream of arriving late to an exam, missing a flight, or appearing somewhere without proper preparation reflects the internal pressure you place on yourself to meet standards, perform well, and avoid criticism or failure. What's particularly interesting is that these dreams often persist long after the original context has passed. People report having recurring dreams about missing high school exams decades after graduation. The specific scenario is no longer relevant, but the underlying fear of being judged as inadequate or unprepared remains active, continuing to generate the dream. Recurring dreams about death, either your own or others, typically don't predict actual death, but represent transformation and endings. Dream research from 2025 reaffirms that literal death in dreams almost always functions symbolically. Dreaming of dying often represents the death of an old identity, role, or way of being. Recurring dreams about a loved one dying might reflect anxiety about losing them, fear of change in the relationship, or the psychological work of gradually accepting mortality, both theirs and yours. These dreams can be deeply disturbing, but research shows they're actually quite common and usually indicate you're processing significant life transitions. Something in you or in your life is ending or transforming, and your psyche is using the most powerful metaphor it has, death, to represent that change. Recurring dreams about being naked or exposed in public reveal vulnerability and shame, A 2024 analysis of this common dream theme found it correlates strongly with experiences of feeling exposed, judged, or inadequate in social situations. The dream might emerge after a public mistake, during periods of increased social anxiety, or when you're hiding something you fear being discovered. The nakedness is a metaphor for psychological exposure, the feeling that others can see your flaws, weaknesses, or secrets. What's significant is not just having the dream, but noticing how you respond in it. Do you try to cover yourself? Do you find clothes? Do you feel ashamed or strangely unbothered? Your dream response reveals how you handle vulnerability. Are you working to hide it, or learning to accept yourself even when exposed? Recurring dreams about flying or falling often reveal your relationship with control and freedom. Flight dreams can represent liberation, transcendence, or escape from limitations, while falling dreams typically represent loss of control, fear of failure, or anxiety about unsupported situations. Analysis from 2025 found that the same person might have both types of dreams during different life periods. When feeling empowered and successful, flight dreams might recur. During periods of instability or transition, falling dreams might take over. The physical sensation of these dreams, which can feel remarkably real, correlates with actual activation of your vestibular system, the brain regions that manage balance and spatial orientation. Your brain is using physical metaphors, up and down, flight and fall, to represent psychological states of mastery versus helplessness. Recurring dreams about water in its various forms reveal your emotional state and how you're managing feelings. Water is one of the most common symbols in dreams across all cultures. A 2024 study on dream symbolism found that calm, clear water typically appears in dreams during periods of emotional stability, while turbulent, murky, or threatening water appears during emotional upheaval. Recurring dreams of drowning might indicate feeling overwhelmed by emotions. Dreams of swimming through clear water might reflect comfortable navigation of your feeling life. Dreams of being in a boat on stormy seas might represent your effort to maintain stability while intense emotions surge around you. The specific qualities of the water, its temperature, clarity, motion, depth, all add nuance to what your dream is revealing about your emotional world. Recurring dreams about animals often reveal instinctual or emotional aspects of yourself that you're not fully integrating. Different animals carry different symbolic associations. Analysis from 2025 on archetypal dream imagery found that predators like wolves, snakes, or sharks in recurring dreams often represent perceived threats, but can also represent your own repressed aggression, sexuality, or power. Gentler animals might represent vulnerability, innocence, or neglected parts of yourself that need care. The animal's behavior matters. Is it threatening or friendly, wild or tamed? The recurring animal is often showing you a part of your own nature, an instinct, drive, or quality that your conscious mind has difficulty acknowledging or accepting. The dream keeps bringing it back until you recognize it as part of yourself. Your recurring dreams reveal how you've internalized relationships from your past. Object relations theory, supported by 2024 dream research, suggests that we carry internal representations of significant relationships. And these internal working models influence how we perceive and engage with people throughout our lives. Recurring dreams often feature relationship dynamics: being criticized, abandoned, controlled, rescued, betrayed, that mirror early attachment experiences. If you frequently dream of trying to gain approval from a distant authority figure, it might reflect your relationship with a parent or early caregiver. If you dream of being chased by someone threatening, it might connect to experiences of feeling unsafe in childhood. These aren't just memories. They're active psychological structures that continue to shape your expectations and fears in current relationships. Recurring dreams sometimes reveal physical health issues before you're consciously aware of them. While this area requires more research, case studies from 2025 have documented instances where recurring dreams changed in character or intensity before the onset of diagnosable illness. Some people report recurring dreams of damage to specific body parts that later developed problems. Others notice their recurring dreams becoming more chaotic or disturbing during the early stages of infection or inflammation. The proposed mechanism is that your sleeping brain, freed from the noise of waking consciousness, can sometimes detect subtle changes in physical sensation, pain, pressure, temperature, or function, and incorporates this information into dream content. Your recurring dream might not just be about emotional or psychological matters. Sometimes your body is trying to tell you something too. Recurring dreams about tests, exams, or performances reveal your relationship with evaluation and self-worth. This extremely prevalent dream type, examined in detail in 2024 research, typically appears in people whose self-esteem is closely tied to achievement and external validation. The dream often involves being unprepared, unable to find the exam room, or discovering you've forgotten about an important test. These dreams can persist decades after formal education ends because the underlying dynamic remains. You still feel tested by life, still worry about being evaluated and found wanting, still tie your worth to performance and outcomes. The dream is asking you to examine this relationship. What would it mean to value yourself independent of achievement? Can you imagine a version of yourself that's worthy, regardless of performance? That's the question the dream is holding. Your recurring dreams have taught us that you are the expert on your own inner life. Despite all the research, all the theories, all the interpretation frameworks developed by psychology and neuroscience, the person best positioned to understand what your recurring dream means is you. Contemporary dream work, as practiced in 2025, emphasizes collaborative exploration over authoritative interpretation. A therapist or dream worker might offer possibilities, patterns they've noticed, questions to consider, but the final authority on meaning rests with the dreamer. Your associations, your life context, your emotional responses. These are the keys. The dream came from you, addresses concerns unique to your life, and speaks in a symbolic language partially shaped by your personal history. Trust yourself. Sit with the dream. Ask what it might be trying to tell you. The answer, when it comes, will feel true in a way that external interpretations never quite can. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly natural. Breathe slowly and feel the cycles all around you. Your breath, inhale and exhale, a rhythm as old as life itself. Your heart beating, a pattern that started before you were born and continues without conscious thought. Day turns to night turns to day, an endless loop, and your dreams, They cycle too, returning, revisiting, repeating, not because anything is wrong, but because this is how transformation happens. Slowly, gently, through patient repetition, a pattern emerges, a pattern softens, a pattern transforms. You don't need to force anything. The cycles will continue, each one carrying you closer to understanding, closer to peace, closer to wholeness. Let the rhythm carry you. Trust the process. We're almost there now. Recurring dreams are love letters from your subconscious. They arrive at night, written in a language of symbols and feelings, carrying messages your conscious mind isn't ready to hear directly. Each dream is signed with care, delivered while you're most open, most vulnerable, least defended. The dream doesn't want to frighten you. It wants to heal you. When you dream the same dream again, your brain is practicing patience. Imagine a teacher who knows you need to learn something important, so they present it again and again, not with frustration but with infinite gentleness. That's your dreaming mind. It will wait. It has all the time in the world. Your recurring dream knows you better than almost anyone. It sees what you hide, feels what you deny, remembers what you've tried to forget, and it doesn't judge you. It simply holds the truth, waiting for the moment when you're strong enough, safe enough, ready enough to look. The repetition is not punishment. Recent studies emphasize this. The dream returns not because you failed to understand it last time, but because understanding happens slowly. Integration takes time. Healing isn't linear. The dream respects your pace. Every time the dream visits, something subtle shifts, even if you don't notice, even if it feels exactly the same. Neural pathways are adjusting. Emotional intensity is gradually decreasing. Your capacity to hold difficult feelings is slowly expanding. The work is happening whether you see it or not. Some recurring dreams are companions. Old friends who've been with you so long you'd almost miss them if they left. They've traveled with you through so many chapters of your life. They've seen you at your worst and stayed anyway. There's something oddly comforting about their familiarity. Your dream might be teaching you that some questions don't have answers, only deeper and deeper ways of sitting with the mystery. Not everything can be solved or resolved. Some things must simply be experienced, felt, lived through again and again until the question itself transforms. When a child has a nightmare and wakes up scared, a parent doesn't analyze or interpret. They simply hold the child and say, "It was just a dream. You're safe now." Perhaps that's what you need too. Permission to be scared, and reassurance that you're safe. The recurring dream often stops the moment you stop trying to make it stop. Resistance strengthens it. Acceptance softens it. When you can meet the dream with curiosity instead of dread, with openness instead of fear, something shifts. The dream has been waiting for you to be ready. Your brain creates these dreams in the same hours when it's also healing your body, consolidating memories, regulating emotions, preparing you for tomorrow. The dream is part of a larger process of restoration. You're being taken care of, even when it doesn't feel like it. Recurring dreams remind us that we're not meant to carry everything consciously. Some processing happens in the dark, in sleep, beyond awareness. Your conscious mind doesn't need to understand everything. Some healing happens in the spaces you can't see. The dream returns like waves returning to shore, each wave similar but not identical. each one reshaping the sand slightly, gradually, over time. The entire coastline changes. You're being reshaped by these nightly visits, slowly becoming someone who can hold what once felt unbearable. When you dream of being lost, perhaps you're not lost at all. Perhaps you're exactly where you need to be, in the wilderness of your own becoming, finding your way by following what feels true, even when you can't see the path ahead. The dream might be showing you that you're stronger than you think. You've survived this dream hundreds of times. You've faced what you feared and woken up whole. That's not weakness. That's extraordinary resilience. So what do recurring dreams really mean? They mean you're human. They mean you're alive. They mean you have a psyche that refuses to abandon difficult material, that keeps working toward integration even when it's hard. They mean you matter enough to your own depths that they won't let you ignore what needs attention. They mean your brain loves you enough to be persistent, to keep trying different approaches, to hold space for pain until you're ready to feel it, to rehearse responses until you find one that works, to believe in your capacity for healing even when you've lost that belief yourself. They mean transformation is possible. The dream wouldn't keep returning if your psyche had given up on you. Its persistence is a vote of confidence. You can integrate this. You can grow through this. You can become someone who has metabolized this experience and emerged changed. Recurring dreams are proof that your subconscious is not your enemy. It's working for you, with you, on your behalf. Every single night, it's doing its best with the tools it has, with the language available to it, with infinite patience and unwavering commitment to your well-being. They reveal that you're not broken, you're not stuck, you're not failing, you're in process. And process takes time. The dream is evidence that the process is ongoing, that growth is happening, that your psyche hasn't given up on the possibility of resolution. The meaning might be simpler than you think. You have something unfinished, something unresolved, something that needs more time, more attention, more gentleness. The dream is asking you to give yourself what you need: time, attention, gentleness. What if your recurring dream is actually a gift, a strange gift, arriving wrapped in fear or confusion, but a gift nonetheless? It's offering you insight into yourself, opportunity for growth, invitation to healing, connection to your depths. What if you unwrapped it differently? The dream will leave when its work is done, not before. You can trust that when the integration is complete, when the lesson is learned, when the emotion is processed, when the pattern is transformed, the dream will fade naturally, quietly, like morning mist disappearing as sun rises. Until then, you can rest. You can stop fighting it. You can let it come and go like breathing. Some nights it visits. Some nights it doesn't. Either way, you're being held by something larger than your conscious understanding. Something that knows the path even when you can't see it. Your recurring dream is a testament to your psyche's commitment to wholeness. Every night it returns. It's saying, I won't let you fragment. I won't let you leave parts of yourself behind. I'll keep bringing this back until all of you can come home. The real meaning isn't in the dream. It's in you. You're the one doing the work. You're the one showing up night after night, facing what you fear, feeling what you'd rather avoid, staying present to your own depths. The dream is just the vehicle. You're the one taking the journey, and you're doing beautifully, even when it doesn't feel like it. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that healing, in its own time, is already happening. And so, our quiet journey through the landscape of recurring dreams comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the neuroscience of REM sleep and memory consolidation to the deeply personal terrain of your own subconscious communications. We've discovered that these dreams are not random, not punishment, but purposeful messengers carrying wisdom from the depths of who you are. From questions about why dreams repeat, to understanding that repetition itself is the healing, we've glimpsed how your sleeping mind works tirelessly on your behalf. Patient, persistent, believing in your capacity to integrate even the most difficult experiences. The dream isn't the problem, it's part of the solution. Recurring dreams remind us that consciousness is vast, much larger than the small spotlight of waking awareness. They show us that healing happens in darkness, in sleep, in spaces beyond control. They teach patience, the kind that trusts timing we cannot see. They reveal that we're never alone, even in our loneliest nightmares, because something within us is always reaching toward wholeness, always working toward integration, always believing transformation is possible. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about unity, the unity of your conscious and unconscious mind, both working toward the same goal even when they seem in conflict. The unity of every dream you've ever had, every emotion you've ever felt, every experience you've ever lived, all part of one continuous story of becoming yourself. You are not divided. You are whole, even when parts of you feel fragmented. Your recurring dreams are threads trying to weave themselves back into the fabric of your awareness. Let them. Let your entire being soften into acceptance of all that you are, all that you've experienced, all that you're becoming. Prepare for deep sleep now, where conscious and unconscious merge into one seamless existence. No boundaries left, only peace, only wholeness, only rest. If this thoughtful exploration of the mind helped you relax or brought you closer to understanding your own dreams tonight, a gentle like and subscribe helps other sleepless souls discover this peaceful space too. It only takes a moment, but it means the world to us. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, into the mysteries of your own sleeping mind, into the language of symbols and the wisdom of repetition. You can allow these thoughts about dreams to fade now, like characters in a story walking off stage after the play ends, leaving only the quiet calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you deeper through consciousness, past thought, beyond awareness, into the soft darkness where dreams are born. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a river that knows exactly where it's going, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where your recurring dreams might visit again or might give you rest. If they come tonight, you can meet them differently now, with curiosity instead of fear, with understanding instead of confusion, with trust that they're here to help. If your eyes are still open, another video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey into peaceful sleep. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your dreams will still be there, still waiting, still working, still carrying their messages with patient devotion. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, beautiful dreamer, and remember, your recurring dreams are not your enemy. They're your companion, your teacher, your inner guide patiently showing you the path home to yourself. Dream deeper with bedtime science. Good night.